Attention! This video is intended as an April Fool's project for 2025. Since my computer self-destructed this spring, I was unable to complete it until now. That being said, the X-02 is not a real plane. Enjoy! In the world of military aviation, innovation and the pursuit of technological supremacy have always driven the development of the most cutting-edge aircraft. In the 21st century, few planes stand out as symbols of this ambition more than the X-02 Wyvern. Though it never saw full production, the X-02 Wyvern represents a culmination of Erusian aircraft advancement. From humble beginnings in the 1980s to the rumored Strike Wyverns making an appearance during the Lighthouse War, we're diving into the history of the X-02. The origins of the X-02 Wyvern lie in a period of intense aircraft technological advancement. In the 1980s, the Erusian Navy sought out a replacement for their venerable F-14 Tomcats purchased from Osea. With the advent of stealth technology and super maneuverability seen in other upcoming aircraft of the day, the Navy approached the Erusian Air and Space Administration to explore the possibilities of a fifth-generation carrier fighter. The design would not only have to compete with other upcoming fighters like the Osean YF-22 and the G.E.N.K XFA-27, but also meet the rigorous demands of carrier operations. In January 1987, EASA proposed what would become the X-02, a variable geometry stealth fighter featuring AESA radar and three-dimensional thrust vectoring nozzles. The wing sweep system of the X-02 is unique in that the outer sections pivoted inward via a switchblade mechanism. The reduction in wing surface area at supersonic speed offered extremely efficient high-speed performance. One drawback of such a mechanism, however, was the inability of the Wyvern to carry internal wing tanks, which greatly reduced its combat radius. However, such an offset could be supplemented with external tanks and mid-air refueling. In addition to the switchblade wings, the X-02's forward canards and vertical stabilizers were designed to pivot to a horizontal position, leaving lateral control to the three-dimensional thrust vectoring nozzles. Powered by two EG-1000 turbofan engines, the sleek arrowhead-shaped airframe could push past Mach 2.5 at 30,000 feet with ease, though its low fuel capacity would limit the amount of time spent at such a speed. The X-02, later dubbed Wyvern, could carry a multitude of weapons. A typical combat loadout included an array of AIM-9M or 9X Sidewinders, and at least 4 Erusian Darkfire long-range missiles. The Darkfire was Erusia's answer to the Osean-made AIM-54 Phoenix and had a range of 200 kilometers or 125 miles. The Wyvern's unique gallium nitride AESA radar was a massive advancement in radar technology, and could detect enemy aircraft coming in from all directions at over 300 miles. This, coupled with advanced data link, put the upcoming Wyvern on par with, or even exceeded the capabilities of the Osean F-22A, which was nearing full production by the 1990s. The project showed immense promise, but would find itself in development hell after the 1994 discovery of the Ulysses asteroid. During this time of global tension, projects like the X-02 were put on the back burner as research poured into anti-asteroid measures. However, the Wyvern project was reactivated in September 1998 in response to the Eugene Rebellion. Development continued into 2003, when the Erusian military reformers questioned the need for a new superfighter when more conventional designs were satisfying all of the military's needs. Again stalled in development, the X-02 would not be put into service before the end of the Eugene Continental War. Having been defeated by the ISAF in 2005, the Erusian military was effectively decimated, and economic sanctions on the nation resulted in international trade with Yuktobania. The Western world obtained its own X-02 after the success of Operation Katina, during which several X-02 prototypes were employed by the Free Erusian rebel faction. The X-02s in question were equipped with an automated pilot system, similar to the infamous Belkin ZOE program. While the majority of the UCAV Wyverns were destroyed by ISAF forces, at least one was obtained by the Eugene government. The advanced aircraft was transferred to Osea and was further developed in secret by the North Osea Grunder Industries, who in turn sold several examples of the design to Yuktobania in the late 2000s. At least one Yuktobanian X-02 saw use in the Circum-Pacific War of 2010. The Wyvern, presumably conducting a reconnaissance mission over Sand Island Air Force Base, was downed by the base's air defense system. While the identity of the pilot is unknown, he successfully ejected and was captured by Osean Maritime Defense Force picket ships. Upon analysis of the downed X-02, it was found that Grunder manufactured examples were less capable than their Erusian counterparts. Simplification of the radar system, stealth capabilities, and electronic countermeasures were likely at play during the shootdown. Shortcomings in the X-02's air-to-ground capabilities prompted the EASA to pursue an upgrade of the Wyvern in the 2010s. In a bid to offer a more versatile platform, EASA developed the X-02S demonstrator, a multi-role version of the Wyvern featuring an improved ground attack system. The new Strike Wyvern added a second seat for a weapons system officer and could carry a wider array of ground attack weaponry including JDAMs, anti-radiation missiles, and a radical railgun package. The EML, or electromagnetic launcher, was developed based on the twin railgun system in the Estavakian CFA-44. The new EML was initially installed for maritime strike, but was notably used as an air-to-air weapon in the Lighthouse War of 2019. The only known X-02S was employed by the 68th Experimental Squadron on October 24, 2019 in defense of Shalaji Castle. Its pilot, Mihai Shalaji, was downed by Strider Squadron after a fierce air battle over the castle. The X-02S prototype was completely destroyed. Less than a year later, reports of an X-02A operated by the Aurelian Air Force came during the South Ossetia conflict, though details of the aircraft's use are scarce. While it never saw its true potential, the X-02 was an important step in aviation advancement. Lessons learned from the X-02 are likely to be an influence in the upcoming generations of aircraft, such as the Radical series in development by Newcom. In fact, Newcom is meant to merge with EASA in the coming years, so I would be absolutely surprised if we don't see any Wyvern DNA in future aircraft. If any of this were real to begin with. This was supposed to be an April Fool's project from earlier this year, but I'll be straight up. My PC died and I've hit some bumps these past few months. Honestly, this year has been a pretty rough one for me, but I'm trying to bounce back by working with an awesome charity, Car for Ukraine. If you go to the link in the description, you can pledge to the 129th Boys who are holding back the Russian invaders. Every penny counts, so anything you can contribute will go towards a truck that will help these drone boys keep up the fight. So back to the X-02 itself. From an aesthetic angle, the X-02 is a really cool looking design, and it's one of my favorites. But it does have some problems from a design standpoint. Now, disclaimer, I'm no aerospace engineer, but a switchblade mechanism seems like it would be a problem when maneuvering. In real life, wings flex during turns and are made of materials to allow such a thing. I could see the X-02's wings just absolutely snapping apart mid-flight if they tried to swing in during a hard turn. And those little doors that open to let the wing in, they seem like weak points themselves in a near supersonic wind rip. Maybe strange rail designers accounted for this with a means to allow airflow through the inner wing structure. I don't know. Another big X-02 problem in my opinion is the lack of fuel tank real estate. Normally, aircraft have fuel tanks in their wings, which is nigh impossible for the Wyvern since the wings have to hold another wing. I suggest they could carry fuel in the fuselage near the engine pods, but again, the engine pods house some pretty bulky Sidewinder missile launchers which look cool but aren't exactly practical. When it comes down to it, the whole airplane is a demonstration of the rule of cool. If it looks good, that's the important part. Actual practicality takes a backseat there, and you know what? That's fine, it's Ace Combat. The whole series is about the rule of cool. And for an arcade action shooter, that's good enough for me. Thanks again for tuning in to me spewing about Ace Combat. Aside from aviation history, it's one of my favorite things to delve into. If you'd like to see more Ace Combat content, let me know in the comments. While on the topic of my favorite things, I want to thank my patrons who, as always, fuel this channel just as much as I do. I really can't do it without you guys. Special thanks to my Ace of Aces tier. Shoutouts to Captain Fantastic, Deuce, Ghoul, Iron, Jake Fuentes, Kodai, Private Petey, Aspen, Weefy, Boats FG, Strider1, Fox2, and Caleb Corey. We'll be getting back into our regular flow of content here, but projects like these really do make me want to delve into more fictional aircraft. Time will tell, and may that sun be at your back.